Hello, and for this flipped video, we will be reviewing one example problem from each topic that will be included on the Unit 1 test. As you watch the video, feel free to pause and rewatch any sections that might need further clarification. Make sure you take notes as you go, and then when you feel good about this, you can move on to the KIA. So let's move on to the first example, multiplying fractions. So this first example, we're going to do 2 1/6 times 1 3/11. So since these are mixed number fractions, we're going to make them improper. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 1 is 13 over 6 times 11 times 1 is 11 plus 3, 14 over 11. Then I'm going to ask myself, can I cross reduce? I can. 2 goes into 6 and 2 goes into 14. So 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 14 7 times. Great. When I multiply across, 3 times 11 is 33. 13 times 7, I'm going to do some side work for that. And 13 times 7, 21, 91. So right away, we are not finished because this is an improper fraction. That numerator is much larger than the denominator. So how many times does 33 go into 91 without going over? So it's 33, 66, 99. No, we're over. So it's definitely going to be 2. And 2 times 33 is 66. So the difference between 91 and 66, 11 minus 6 is 5, 8 minus 6 is 2. So my leftover number is 25 over 33. Great, let's move on to dividing fractions. And in this example, we're going to do 3 1/6 divided by 4 2/3. So we're going to make them improper. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 1 is 19 over 6 divided by 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14 over 3. So now that they're improper, I am going to follow the rules for dividing fractions, keep, change, flip. So keep 19 over 6, change the division to multiplication, flip 14 over 3 to 3 over 14. Now can I cross reduce? I can over here. So 3 goes into 6 and 3, 3 goes into 6 twice, 3 goes into itself once. Then I'm going to multiply across, and I get 19 over 2 times 14 is 28. And we are finished. This is not an improper fraction. The numerator is smaller than the denominator, and I cannot simplify, so I am finished. Now let's move on to adding decimals. So in this first example, we are going to do 317 and 2/10 plus 31 72/100. With adding and subtracting decimals, you need to line up the dot. So I have 317.2 plus I have 31.72. And I'm going to tuck a 0 here as a placeholder. 0 plus 2, 2. 2 plus 7, 9. Decimal point, decimal point, decimal point. 7 plus 1, 8. 1 plus 3, 4, 3, bring it down, 348 92/100 is my final answer. Now let's move on to subtracting decimals. Same thing with adding, same thing, the same rule that you have to line up the dot. 310.2 minus 31.72. So order matters. I need to keep the order. So I have 310.2 minus 31.72. And I have a feeling we're going to do a lot of borrowing in this one, and I'm going to tuck a 0 here. So let me change pen colors. Here we go. 0 minus 2, I need to borrow right away. So this changes to 10, and this changes to 1. 10 minus 2 is 8. Back to borrowing. 1 minus 7, I can't do that. This changes to 11. This changes to 9. This changes to 0. So now that I took one away, I can go back and do my subtraction. 11 minus 7 is 4. Decimal point, decimal point, decimal point. 9 minus 1 is 8. 0 minus 3, once again, this changes to a 10. This changes to a 2. 10 minus 3 is 7. and carry down the 2. So my answer is 278 and 48 hundredths. Multiplying decimals. So in our example, we are going to multiply 9 and 12 hundredths times 10.7. And in this problem, we're going to envision these numbers as if the decimal point wasn't there at all. So this, what I'm thinking of is it's 912 times 107. And then I'll find the decimal, I'll pay attention to the decimal point later. So 912 times 107. Digit alignment is very important in multiplication, especially a 3-digit times 3-digit number. So here we go. 1 times 7. I'm sorry, 2 times 7 is 14. Put the 4 here, carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. 7 times 9 is 63. Squiggle out my crossovers, and I'm multiplying the 0, but I'm going to get a bunch of zeros, so I can just plug in zeros. Now let's multiply the 1. When I'm multiplying the 1, I'm actually multiplying 100. So my first digit needs to stand in the hundredths place value, which is here. So when you're multiplying this third digit, you have to tuck in 2 placeholders here. When I multiplied this 0, I tucked in 1 placeholder. So don't forget about the placeholder, because if you do forget, your answer will be wrong. So let's continue with our multiplication. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 9 is 9. Let's add it up. 4, 8, 3 plus 2 is 5, 6 plus 1 is 7. Bring down the 9. Now let's go back, and we have 1, 2, 3 jumps total in for our decimal point, and going in from the right, we have 1, 2, 3 jumps. So my final answer is 97.584. Excellent. If the directions told us to round to the nearest tenths, let's say, for example, our answer, so our rounded answer, and please make sure to write this on your paper, rounded answer to the tenths will be, this is the tenths, the 8 is my deciding number, 97.6. Wonderful. Let's keep going. Flip over your paper to dividing. So in dividing fractions, our example is going to be 32.49 divided by 3.5. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to write 32.49 in the house divided by 3.5. And right away, when you see this divisor out here with a decimal point and alarms going off, we can't do it. We need to fix it. So this is going to take 1 scooch to make it a whole number. So if that scooches once, this scooches once. So now that is the new home of the decimal point. So I'm going to rewrite it before I start my work. So now the problem is 35 divided by 324.9. And right away, I'm going to bring up my decimal point. Now let's continue on with our division. So 35 goes into, it's not going to fit into 32, but it'll definitely fit into 324. And, oh, with these directions, we're going to round to the tenths. We're going to add that. All right, so 35 goes into 324. So 35 times 10, I know, is 350. So it's not too far. So I'm going to guess 35 times 9. I'm going to do some side work. 45, 27, plus 4 is 31. So we're definitely not going to get closer to 324 than 315. So I'm going to put a 9 right on top of that 4, and write the 315 underneath, and I get 9. Bring down this 9. 35 goes into 99. So 35 times 2 is 70. And 35 times 3 would be 35 more than that. So I know 35 times 3 would be 105. So that would be over. So it's definitely going to be 2, 70. And when I subtract, I'm going to get 29. And remember, I have to round to the nearest tenths place. So from rounding to the tenths place, which is where the 2 is, I need to push my answer 1 decimal place further because this is my deciding number and it's going to tell me whether I'm going to give this a shove or leave it low. So I need to figure out what digit belongs in the hundredths place value of this quotient. So I'm going to annex a 0. 35 goes into 290. So 35 times 9 is 315. So 35 times 8, 40, 24, 28. Ooh, that's great. So I'm going to put an 8 here, and I'm going to stop and round because my directions tell me to round to the nearest tenths. So my final answer is 9.3. Excellent. At this point, you can feel free to rewatch any part of this video. Remember, anything I wrote in this video should be copied onto your note-taking guide. If you're feeling good about these skills, you can move on to doing the KIA assessment. Thanks so much, and good luck with your studying for Friday's test.